Get excited because today I'm going to show you how to make the best and the tastiest bruschetta recipe. Hi, I'm Carrie with eatingonadime.com, and we're on a mission to help families eat well on a budget. Now, anytime we go to a restaurant and I see bruschetta on the menu, I'm buying it. It's really super simple to make, but it's actually kind of expensive. And so I decided I'm going to figure out how to make it at home so I can have bruschetta whenever I want. We just had people over not too long ago, and people were going crazy over the bruschetta that I made. And so today I want to share it with you. Now you can find the full recipe. It's a brand new recipe. It's linked in the description below, or you can always just go to Google or Eat on a Dime. If you Google it, just type in Eat on a Dime bruschetta. And if you go to our website, Eating on a Dime, you can just type in the search box at the top, bruschetta, and it'll pull right up. Now, a few things that I want you to know about. I want you to keep watching because you got to chop up a lot of tomatoes for bruschetta. But I'm going to show you our way that we can get it chopped up perfectly sized and super quick. Like it's super fast to chop them all up really quick. First thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Then you're going to need just a cooking sheet, and some parchment paper. I'm going to give you, now you'll find all the links to the stuff that we're using if you need anything linked in the description as well. This is one thing that I love. It's parchment paper sheets. And what they are is they fit perfectly in here and they lay flat. And they're also unbleached. I don't know if you knew this, but I had recently found out that parchment paper gets bleached, and I don't want bleach in my food, so we're doing unbleached. But you do you. Then you're going to need like a baguette. I'm filming this in the middle of an snowstorm in Oklahoma, and so they were out of baguettes. And so it says it's plain French bread, fresh baked in the store. It's just smaller than like what I traditionally find. So French bread, baguette, whatever you can find works. I'm excited because this one's pre-sliced, so I don't have to slice it up. Normally I have to slice them up, but see how pretty they are, just to give you an idea of how big they are compared to my hand. So we're just gonna lay these out onto this cookie sheet. Now this recipe should be good for one entire French bread. Like one entire loaf is what I mean. We'll see if I might not be able to get them all to fit on here. I might have to do 2 rounds and get another cookie sheet out. But for the sake of the video, we're just gonna do this right now. Oh my goodness, I'm so pumped about this. Okay, then you're just going to take some olive oil. You're gonna need a couple tablespoons, about 2 tablespoons for this and 2 tablespoons for later. Try to use a good olive oil if you can. You're already saving money on your bread because it was just $1. So like try to get, if you're using olive oil, try to use a good quality olive oil anyway. Then we're just gonna brush this onto the top of these breads. And the reason we're gonna do that is because we gotta toast these and get them slightly crunchy. Now we want them slightly crunchy because if you just have this like heated through, that bruschetta, which if you don't know what bruschetta is, we probably should talk about that, but it's tomatoes and basil and olive oil, almost like a little salad. Well, it's gonna soak right through it. So we gotta give it a good base on the bread by using olive oil. Okay, cut. Were you coming? Okay, you can remove the sound. Okay, so now, excuse me, all of the bread is ready. We're gonna pop this in the oven, 450 degrees for 4 to 6 minutes, just so they can get nice and toasty. Oh, one question, real quick. One question I know I'll get asked is, can I use butter? Hi, Toby, you want to bite of bread? Can I use butter? You can, but the reason I don't is because this is an olive oil based recipe. And so I don't want to mix flavors because I want olive oil on my bread, olive oil on my bruschetta, and I feel like it just makes the flavors go really, really well with that Italian flair. Okay, off to the oven we go. You can remove the sound. Okay, now it's time for the hard part, which is chopping up the tomatoes. We're going to need Roma tomatoes, and mine came in all kinds of different sizes, and that's totally okay. I like Roma tomatoes because it's a little bit easier. Now for this, you're also going to want, if you could chop these up by a knife all day long, but we figured out that you can actually use your food chopper to chop up tomatoes, and I'm going to show you how to get them perfect every single time. So this is a game changer for me because it makes it so much easier. Now, whether you're using the food chopper or cutting them by hand, I highly recommend you have a really good knife. This is the knife we always talk about. I have it linked for you, but make sure you sharpen it right before you cut. Just a few swipes of sharpening will just make it so much easier when you're doing tomatoes. I've got to wipe that off in case there's any like shavings on there. Okay, now we're ready to go. So what I like to do is I'm just going to cut off the end, maybe kind of both ends-ish. We're going to cut this in half. Once we've cut it in half, we're going to cut it in half again. Now, I kind of like to get rid of the inside of the tomato. Okay, let me show you. And the reason is because it doesn't look as pretty as when you're making bruschetta. And you also want to take a spoon and scoop out the seeds. Now you can leave this middle part in here if that doesn't bother you, that's totally okay. But we're gonna take a spoon and just run it through the edges. Okay, so you're gonna grab a spoon and just scoop out any of the seeds. You're just wiping them out. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the reason that helps is because it makes your bruschetta salad not so runny and drippy. Now that you have that done, all you gotta do is lay these pieces, and it should be in 4 pieces, just right on top of this food chopper and chop it. You can even usually fit like 2 pieces in there at once and look beautifully squared little pieces. Now this chopper, I've shown you another one, and I'm testing this one out, and they both work pretty much the same. But either one, they'll have 2 different sizes of the little blades. This is the smallest setting. That's my personal preference for bruschetta, but you can do the bigger setting too. So the first thing, I just want to show you up close. We're going to cut off the ends, cut it in half. Then I like to cut it in half one more time. I just want to make sure you can see that. And the reason is if I put this in the food chopper right now, they're going to be really long pieces. And then you're just going to take your spoon and get rid of those seeds before you throw it in your food chopper. So I wanted to show you, like, I just get rid of those seeds, and then this little middle part I usually cut out. You don't have to, but that's just my personal preference. Then we're just going to head over to the food chopper, and we're going to place these on here and then just chop away. When you're doing tomatoes, it's best to do the skin side up, and it goes through your food chopper a lot better. See, I can just cram these in here and push it through. And see how pretty that is? Okay, I just heard the timer go off, so let's go check on our bread. Okay, they're looking great. Now, I know they don't look that toasted, but when you feel it, they are nice and crunchy, but you don't want it too crunchy. The bottom will still be kind of soft, and that's what you want. Just enough where the liquids won't soak through. Now, the bread is cooling over there, and then I just have a couple more to do. I did some off of camera because who has time to watch me do all this, right? This is the hardest part, and it's not hard. It's just a little time consuming, but again, it's not hard at all. Now, this recipe, we're using 2 pounds of Roma tomatoes, so that's quite a bit. So it's made to feed a crowd. But I like that because, now you can have it if you want to, but I like it because, like, I was just talking to my husband about how I've been wanting to eat some bruschetta on like some baked chicken. And so I'm going to store the leftovers in an airtight container in the fridge, so that way I can use it on chicken. I can have bruschetta whenever I want. I just pull out the toasted the bread, and you're ready to go. Okay, we're going to get these tossed in. And then get cleaned up. Okay, so now we're going to clean off our knife because it has all the tomato junk on there because we have to chop up some basil. But first, let's get our tomatoes, and we're going to place it into a mixing bowl. I'm going to use my glass one just so you guys can see it. We're going to toss these in there. Plus, I want you to be able to see how much it makes. It's quite a bit. When people came over and I made some for an appetizer, I made half the recipe, and it was plenty. But if you're like me and you love bruschetta, make this ahead of time and store it in your fridge. Then you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Dump that right in. Then we need a half a teaspoon of salt. Oh, my salt's getting low over here. Perfect. Sprinkle that right on top. I am also linking my magnetic measuring spoons. I don't know if you've ever seen these, but the middle is a magnet. They're two-sided, which is great for cooking, but they all click together. Okay, then all that's left is some fresh basil. Now, we're not in season of growing basil, but I cannot wait for the summer because we are going to go crazy with all this fresh basil we're going to grow. So I'm just purchasing it from the grocery store. You can purchase it like this, or if you grow them inside. Can you use dried basil? You can. Do I recommend it? No. Mainly because these are fresh ingredients and it'll just taste so much better. But if you're in a pinch, you can still do dried ingredients. You're just going to have to use like a way less amount. If you go to the recipe, I can't remember what it is. If you go to the recipe, we'll include that in there. Okay, so now when you're cutting basil, you basically just want to pull all the leaves off of the stems. We don't want these chunky stems in it. Topi just really wants a bite of bruschetta. Who knew he liked bruschetta so much? Okay, I'm getting all the leaves popped off. And then what you're going to want to do is just run your knife through it and you can chop it. Now, I personally like them almost like sliced up, like slices, but you can chop them up and do whatever you want. I do like to go through and kind of pick off any of the long stems. But you don't have to be too picky about it. This basil isn't as beautiful as it would be if it was in season, if that makes sense. So, but I wanted to get this out to you so you'll have this video and this recipe for when basil is in season. So make sure you save this recipe. And I don't know if you knew this, but when you go to Eat on a Dime, you can actually save a recipe. You can create your own account and it'll save all your favorite recipes. So you can go in there and save it, which is great. I keep saying sorry about that. So let's push these together. I just kind of fold them up in my hands and then just start. You want to cut on the fattest part of your knife. And you just run through it real quick. You're not trying to be perfect. It's not like you're trying to be a chef and cooking these perfectly or cutting these perfectly. Then I'm going to turn them the other way. Kind of roll them up and then do my knife again. And you decide, you know, how much you want. But like I just try to do this. It doesn't, that works, but not that great. I like kind of do it a little bit slower. And I don't want my basil really fine. Okay, so that's done. And we're just gonna toss this in. Grab a spoon and you're going to mix this up. And you can decide, do I want, like I believe the recipe calls for about a half a cup of basil, but you can decide, do I want a little more, do I need a little less? I'm a huge basil fan. Fresh basil is probably like God's gift to people. That was supposed to be funny, guys, so make sure you laugh. But I just love it. I'm obsessed with it. If you've been following me, you know I'm obsessed with balsamic, and I'm also obsessed with basil. I also like to just do a quick little test and make sure I like the flavor. Now we're not finished. We're gonna have that balsamic glaze, but like I added just a little pinch more of salt because I like my bruschetta just a smidgen saltier. You might not like that, but I do because I think tomatoes and salt and balsamic and olive oil all go really, really well together. Okay, so now we're just going to grab our bread, get a platter and assemble. Now you just need a cute serving platter. I'm just using a basic white one. And then I like to do this and serve this on the platter, but you could do it here. Now, let's say you made this morning and you want to share it for like a party tonight. Keep these separate. You don't want to combine them until you're ready to serve them because the tomatoes will soak in and you'll have a soggy mess. So let's throw out the, not throw them out, lay out all the baguettes. Apparently I forgot how to talk today. I think I might need some caffeine. Get that lined up. Then we're just gonna spoon this mixture. Got to get me another platter right on top. As much as you want or as little as you want. Okay, it's looking beautiful, but we have one more step, which is my favorite step, and you're gonna add a balsamic glaze. Now, this is the one I'm using today. You can just get it at your grocery store, and we will also link it. I am currently testing how to make my own balsamic glaze. I haven't perfected the perfect recipe yet, but you will be first to know when I do. So in the meantime, use the the store-bought glaze. The thing that is nice about the store-bought glaze is it has a squirt, so you can easily just drizzle the balsamic right on top. And I just kind of make a little zigzag line. So pretty. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. Oh, they just smell so good. They look so good. Now we just gotta clean up. I'm gonna have to make me some more or save this for later. And we're ready to eat. This is my favorite part, testing it out, seeing if all this talk of me talking about how good it is, if it actually is. We all know it's gonna be great, guys. Okay, let's take a little bite. So I like to just serve it, like you could put little plates or even like just dessert plates next to it so people can grab their own, because they do get a little messy. So you want all the tomatoes to fall off onto their plate and not onto your serving platter. Yeah, I'm here for this, guys. It's just as good as I remember. Just as good. So please make it. Now, if you do make it, leave us a review. All you have to do is go to Eating on a Dime to the recipe, and you scroll down and click leave a review, and you'll have to put in your email address, but nobody sees that part. It's just part of the program. Sorry, guys. And then you can do like 5 stars, 4 stars, and then tell us what you like. Like if you tried something out, maybe you did sourdough bread, maybe you decided to do like some flatbread. That would be delicious too. But let us know. That way we can help each other out, and it's the best way to communicate with us. I just want to eat more. Okay, I gotta finish this video so I can go munch on this. All you gotta do, guys, if you love today's video, I would love it if you would like and subscribe and drop a comment. We love hearing from you. And also, don't forget the recipe's linked in the description. But that's it, guys. I hope you love today's easy recipe. You can look fancy at home without doing a lot of work. Okay, you guys have a great time, and I'll see you next time in my kitchen. Bye, friends.